Hello, everybody, and welcome to Matt and John Make a Podcast live reaction to the May 6th editions of AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT. As always, I have John here. John, how are you doing today?
Good, very, very good. And before we start, I would like to give a special shout out to my good friend Chase Oliver 68, who we discussed and previewed UFC 249, discussed all of the upcoming fights, and everything going on with MMA. It was about almost 2 hours there. I would like to thank Chase for having me on and look forward to possibly doing that more down the line there.
It's
So, but now on to the business at hand, Matt. Both with AEW Dynamite and NXT. From your end, I'm assuming that you were mostly in tune with
Yep,
NXT. Okay, yeah, and I was mostly in tune with AEW Dynamite, and
as
from
always.
Dynamite's per the usual, and I gotta say, Dynamite was a really fun show tonight. It was a lot better than I expected it to be, especially with the main event, which we're going to be getting into that. I have a lot of thoughts on that, and also everything with NXT. How did you think that NXT came off there, Matt?
I thought excuse me. I thought it was pretty good tonight. We had a lot of advertised matches, some big matches during the show. We had the women's title match, and we had the NXT championship match, uh, plus the debut of Karrion Cross, which we'll talk about once we get into it,
Mhm.
was which everybody was talking about. And so yeah, it was a pretty good show. Just I think again, just looking at AEW almost through the peripherals, if you will. Looked like they had a decent show, so it looked like a good week overall through for both companies here.
Yeah, and I will say this: a huge difference with AEW being at Daly's place, and like they added a lot more people into the
Did,
crowd
were
too.
they were there actual fans or people, family
No,
people?
no, it was like their staff and the wrestlers spread out basically
Because
around the arena there.
because
Supposedly there was like about 30 plus people, from what I could tell there, and I believe that's what Sean Ross Sapp
yeah, because
or a few people said there.
during the main event, I noticed near the end, I noticed like a little kid with like his dad or something off in the distance.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm assuming maybe it was like either family or
yeah,
staff or something,
more than likely. Well,
because
yeah,
I didn't notice it until Moxley came down through the crowd. I'm like, wait, there's people here. Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, like it just like it really helped out the show though. Like just that energy, even if it's as small as that, just really helps out with the flow and just with the overall vibe. I
Yeah.
felt, but what do you just want to do our normal thing?
Yeah, just
Just
let's go. Yeah, let's go through AEW. Yeah,
okay,
just
okay,
alphabetically.
yeah, okay. So we kicked off with Jelly Janela, oh boy, versus Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Needless to say, I was not very excited to see Jelly back on Dynamite. That was one that I enjoyed about the last 3 or 4 weeks. But this was a pretty solid match between him versus Cody. Cody wins, um, and building up to his match at Double or Nothing against Lance Archer for the um, TNT Championship. Yeah, nothing really to add here. Solo match, and it didn't go too long, which that was a little bit of an issue for some other matches. But overall, a pretty decent match.
Was there a point in time, and it looked like for me, and I think I think I saw somebody else point this out, but did they fight an awful lot of time outside the ring, and there was no countouts?
No, no. I mean, I couldn't really notice it. If it did, I could be wrong, but I didn't really see that.
It seemed they were
Um,
out there for a
yeah.
decent time, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I can't. You know what? I can't confirm nor deny because I wasn't really
Yeah,
watching it.
I think Cody did a moonsault or something from the top of the stage. I do recall that, but I don't think it was like outrageously
I don't know. From what it
long.
seemed like it could have been like 3-4 seconds in ref count,
Right?
but
Yeah. Yep. So then we move on to a video package of the AEW Women's Champion Nyla Rose, just kind of just ingratiating herself back onto TV. She's been obviously off of TV since the pandemic started. They've been doing the empty shows,
yep.
and then she gets on the promo. She basically shits on Tony Schiavone like everyone else does on the freaking roster. Just kind of reminding people that she's the most dominant force in the AEW Women's Division. And then she goes ahead and squashes Kenzie Page. Just was like about 90 seconds. Nothing too special there. And
As she should.
yeah, and while watching this, I'm just constantly just reminding myself I really wish that they would just put the title on to Britt Baker at this point. Just and just with some of the other things that she was doing throughout the night here, I really do think that she's easily the best thing going with that women's division right now. So we'll see where that goes. I think they advertised a fatal four way
Yep.
next week, which I believe was Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida,
Britt
uh,
Baker.
Britt Baker, and do you know who the fourth
Oh,
person was on that? Okay,
I don't know.
I can't recall, but that's being advertised for next week.
Yeah, I like Chris Stanlander's terribly fake anger at
Yeah,
the end. Like her
yeah,
facial, I don't know if it was supposed to be alien, but she was trying to be all like mad. I was like, I don't buy it.
yeah,
It's just the way she her
yeah,
face. I was like, ah.
yeah, yeah. That was
I
a little bit
say,
strange.
yeah, same alien face.
But then we get on to a glorious MJF promo. My God, just this man, just the charisma, just the freaking it factor that this man has is just amazing. He talks uh, uh, he talks about his time away, being basically building himself up and talking about how good dad he is. Talks about how other wrestlers are just insecure of how good daddy is. And after this, he announces that MGF is injury free, man. No more hangnails, no more issues with his feet or
Thank
shoulder or whatever.
thank God.
It's it's the most happiest day in professional wrestling, wouldn't you say?
Sure, let's go with that. I said happiest day ever. Yeah, let's go with that.
Then we lead into a pointless Sean Spears video package. If this storyline was literally done by anyone else, I might actually care. But basically, this whole thing was centered around him being mad at Cody Rhodes for not throwing in in the towel when Archer was beating the crap out of Dustin Rhodes, and he made reference to 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 his brother and saying, if that was me, I would have protected him, yada yada yada. I don't care about Sean Spears, yada yada yada. Anything to add there, Matt?
No, because I didn't hear it.
Okay, good. You really did not miss a damn thing. Then we get back to the ringside, and we had um, we had MJF talking again, and which eventually leads to Tony Schiavone telling him that this came directly from Tony Khan, that at Double or Nothing we are getting MJF versus Jungle Boy, which I'm very excited for this match. If you recall their match from, I believe that was on the Jericho Cruise, if I remember correctly, was a very good match. So that has a possible show stealing match there. Any thoughts on doing MGF versus Jungle Boy? What do
I
you think?
I I mean, I like it. I think that's a good first match back. At least it's not Marco's stunt. Uh,
No, I do wonder what they will have planned after this, because obviously MJF is going to be going over here. So what do you think that they actually do once once that's over, or better, I should ask, what do you want to see them do with him post Double or Nothing?
uh, put him in a feud with Moxley for the title.
I feel like that's probably the best way to go.
I I I mean, there's probably other things they can do, but I feel
Mhm,
like Moxley's obviously a face.
mhm,
MGF is obviously a heel. A heel. Um, I think that would work. I
mhm.
mean, it's a big time, two big names in the company that would get people talking, and I would enjoy the promos. I think everybody would, and
A big
yeah,
match. It's
it's
a
a
big
bit.
match
It is a
for
big
sure.
match.
And then we get to Kazarian versus John Moxley. This match I felt went on entirely too long. I think this got almost 15 or 20 minutes, which I felt was really just
I I
unnecessary.
buy this going long compared to um Omega and the other guy, the random guy, going that long.
Yeah, yeah,
I
would
can,
think that.
yeah, I can buy this because was it Kazarian is more established. Yeah, even though he's not been doing anything, we haven't seen him in a while.
Right.
Um, and you could say, yeah, maybe it did go a little bit too long, but I'm more okay with this compared to what that was. Was it last week? Or the week before?
It was a few
With
weeks ago with
with a
Kenny.
was it
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Was it a few weeks ago? I thought it was like
Mhm.
last week or something,
No, no, it wasn't last week. It was a few weeks ago.
or
But
2 weeks. Yeah, I can buy it, but SCU's breaking out because Kazarian's growing his hair out.
yeah,
It's like I was
well,
like, oh, who's this? Oh, he has hair now.
yeah, and with the video packages that they have been building up with Scorpio Sky, they're obviously preparing him to eventually go off on his own there as well. But this but but like Mox, he eventually wins, and then after the match, we had the Dark Order uh, uh, attacked on Moxley, and this went on for a few minutes here. Eventually, Mr. Brody comes down, and this sets up for the most likely main event for Double or Nothing: John
Yes,
Moxley versus Brody Lee for the
which
AEW.
which they already announced.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think this is way too soon for this match.
Yes,
Because up until this point, with with Brody. He's beaten nothing but tomato cans at this point, and I think the problem that they had here was they really didn't have anyone else for Moxley to actually feud against. I think it also doesn't help that I think that they were probably trying to plan for him versus MJF for this show, but because of the pandemic, I feel like that they kind of had to change plans, and this is kind of where they had to go here. Um, I mean, like I'm sure that with the match it will be decent, but I mean, and some people are saying that you kind of have to put Brody Lee over here. I don't necessarily agree with that, just
I
because I think it I think it's way too soon to have
no.
Moxley
I
drop it here.
sense because you can't have both any of these both of these people, Moxley and Lee, shouldn't lose, especially Lee.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel some shenanigans at the end of this match.
yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. It's just
I mean, this to save the to protect both because you're not going to have Moxley lose. I
no.
don't think. I don't think you want to have Brody Lee lose since he's trying to be this top
Yeah,
heel and the leader of this faction. So I think there's some
yeah,
shenanigans. This does not end
yeah.
clean.
I'm just I'm very unsure of what they'll
I think
actually do here, which it might be a good thing, but we'll see
yes. I'm
where that
saying
goes.
the match ends with shenanigans.
Mhm. Then we get a promo by Stephanie. By Brandy Rhodes. Yeah, this was kind of cringe to me. Brandy was trying really hard to act really badass here. I felt, and it just didn't come off all that great. Basically, she was basically telling Archer and like Jake to basically back off or she'll fight back.
Yeah,
That was
you're gonna
and
lose,
that was
Brandy. You're
yeah,
gonna
and
lose.
yeah, that was basically it. So then we lead into a match between QT Marshall versus Lance Archer. Um,
Marshall, QT Marshall.
oh, sorry, QT Marshall. Um, um,
Get it right. Respect the name.
yeah, and Archer was pretty dominant here as he should have been. He won with the claw, kind of basically the same exact way how he beat Dustin Rhodes. And before the finish happened, freaking Britt Baker again hits hits freaking Brandy
It's a deadly shoe.
with the with a deadly shoe, and Brandy chucks it into the stands, which then once the finish actually happens, Britt Baker attacks Brandy, throws her into the ring, and I'm not sure. I think Archer did something which I kind of forget that part, but the the main thing that happened here, the Matt Jake brings a freaking snake into the ring, and this is happening for a good 3 or 4 minutes. And the burning question that everyone is asking: where the fuck is Cody Rhodes at? You know, Brandy's
Like
husband.
I told you on the Twitter.
Was
She
he was
wasn't
he
scheduled to be his. She wasn't scheduled to be his wife during the segment.
I mean, like, was he taking a giant poop or something here? I mean, like, it's like,
He
like,
he was busy getting another bad tattoo on his other side of his neck.
yeah. I really hope that they address this because if not, this is a giant plot hole, needless to say, and it doesn't make any sense at all because,
He had paperwork.
uh,
He had paperwork he had to do for
right,
AEW.
like, like I mean, like I could buy it if he was earlier and I had a grueling match where he couldn't really do anything. Okay, I can kind of buy that,
But
but
he had a match with Janela.
with freaking Jelly Janela.
Hey, you know what? This proves that Brandy's tougher than Cody Rhodes.
Apparently
Last
so.
week, she got ran over by Darby,
Mhm.
and somehow it looked like she was like
And
constipated.
I'm
Came back out with a bottle of water.
Mhm.
Later in the night,
Mhm.
comes back out with a different clothes and looks like she's fine. And you're telling me Cody couldn't come back out though?
I'm like, it's just
Nah,
more evidence that I'm starting to wonder if they're starting to tease him possibly turning here at Double or Nothing, because I'm pretty convinced now that they're definitely putting the title onto Archer. And this might be kind of the tipping point for him or something. It's just just some things that have been going on for the last 2 weeks have been acting a little bit heelish to me. So I'm very interested to see if that
not
is
even not
indeed a
even
route.
Arn Anderson comes out or
Yep. Yes.
something like that. Maybe to take a I don't know punch or I don't know something.
Yeah. Something has to happen here because as I said, this just did not
This
make
is like
any sense
we.
here.
This is almost like AEW was making fun of it before, but the imaginary wall that they blame WWE for having,
Mhm.
people don't come out, but this is like happening right here, and you can go
Yeah.
back. Everybody does it. Look at
Mhm.
as much as it looked good and it was a good segment, the attack from Orton on the Edge.
Mhm.
Nobody in the back, not even
Oh,
security,
yeah.
wants to come out.
Right. Exactly.
When you
Because
look at it like a logical standpoint,
Mhm.
it does not make sense.
well, especially too,
And goes around through all of
because
professional wrestling.
because I can buy it with like Dustin Rhodes,
Yeah,
Rhodes not being
absolutely.
in there
He got the crap beat out of him.
because he got the freaking tar being out of him last week.
If it was just Dustin, and Cody
Hmm.
was not even a thing,
Yeah. Hmm.
makes perfect sense.
But where was Arn? I think he's definitely like, why wasn't he kind of out there? Because obviously he's associated with Cody, but I'm ju-
You,
I'm just I'm just hoping that there
you
is
could
more to this
he
story.
could come out to try to. I can buy if you said he came out because maybe Cody was in the back, still getting recovering from the match or something like that, and Orton
Hmm.
came out. What have you?
Right.
It would at least make more sense. Now, if they move forward to explain it next week, then
Mhm.
and it makes sense, then okay, then all is forgiven. But
Right.
until then, there's questions.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then we get a announcement that at Double or Nothing, Matt, we're going to have a casino royale, or no, sorry, a casino ladder match, and the winner of this match is going to get a future title shot down the line. Now, I'm not sure if this was a shot at WWE because they said like they said a very unique ladder match, kind of a
Probably.
shot, yeah, a shot at WWE constantly just saying, oh hey, this is the most unique Money in the Bank ladder match in history. It was kind of like,
And they're not wrong. So
eh,
you can mock them, but they're not
yeah,
wrong.
but that was announced, and also for Dynamite for next week, we get announced Brody Lee versus Christopher Daniels, um, and we also get Chris Jericho versus Pineapple Pete next week. Matt, aren't you excited for Chris Jericho versus Pineapple Pete?
There's always one match that they announce, and you just look and you go, "What the hell is this?"
Matt,
Pineapple
think
Pete.
Matt, think about this. Pineapple Pete wins the AEW um, world title. His first feud is against Potato Pete. Money right there. Money.
I'm gonna end this stream. No, you know what? I'm gonna kick you out, and then I'm just gonna start talking about NXT.
jalapeno hand. So,
Nobody outside of Pittsburgh knows what that is.
hey, it's still funny to me, damn it.
I never said it wasn't. I'm just saying I should end this right now.
Mhm.
We're lucky.
All right.
Lucky the viewership doesn't just turn off right now.
All right, on to more serious.
We actually went up.
All right.
Oh, that's funny.
This leads to the main event between Les Sex Gods, as Chris Jericho and Sammy
That card that sounds like a card from Cards Against Humanity.
Yes, versus Broken Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega. And holy shit, this match was a lot better than I thought that it was going to be. It was just a ton of fun, man. Just a lot of craziness. Freaking.
I got two logical gripes with this match, but everything else I thought was okay. Was entertaining.
Freaking Matt changing costumes three times within here was pretty funny. Freaking Matt running over Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Okay, here, can I address that? Can I address that real quick? This is my gripe. Okay. So Broken Matt Hardy, after he conveniently had his clothes in the ice machine, comes out, gets in the golf cart.
Hey, he can see into the freaking future, man. It's magic.
That's not the gripe. That was just me.
Okay.
That wasn't the gripe. That was me channeling my cornet there, which I got to play that role during AEW when we talk about it, just for at least something. So anywho, that's not my gripe. I'm okay with that.
I'm waiting.
So he gets in the golf cart, has trouble getting the golf cart on, which was hilarious. So then he's driving. He finally gets in. He's driving like a grandpa on 79 to Jericho. Okay. You're telling me, Jericho, you clearly see him coming from you. You don't move out of the damn way.
He was frozen with
fear.
Frozen with fear.
I could ride a bicycle quicker than that. And he literally, I know they're probably doing it for the way you're supposed to train to get hit by a golf cart, but he leans into the golf cart and I don't know. It didn't look that much of a hit. But the next gripe.
Sammy Guevara?
Yes. Okay. So, okay. Normally I would be mad because he can't outrun that golf cart. But I can buy it this time because you know why? He's in a match. He's been tired. Maybe he's not up 100%. Even though his trash can hit was weak. If you remember that. I saw that. Yeah. I was just like, eh. Anywho, I can buy him not being able to outrun Grandpa on 79 in the golf cart. But then, he's running, and then you stop! You stop! Okay, there's two things you could have done here to avoid this. One, you can dive to the left, or dive to the right. Meanwhile, then he stops and he gets hit with a golf cart. And I'll give him credit. It looked like he got hit by a freaking from a freaking dump truck.
Like,
he sold it.
He sold it like a freaking shot.
But if you have somebody crazy like Matt Hardy, Broken Matt Hardy, right, driving at
Damascus. Damascus. Get it right.
It's Broken Matt Hardy.
It's Damascus. Oh, damn it.
I'll damask your ass.
That's what she said.
And he's coming at you. You don't stop! It's not like you could sidestep a foot and you wouldn't miss. You'd be okay. That's my gripe. I saw that and went, oh my God. I'm just waiting for Jim Cornette. The whole match, I was trying to pull my attention. I never said it wasn't fun. I'm just saying the
Fun.
logic. Those are just two things that to me look bad. That would just seem like, oh, you could have done
Matt,
that better.
I got a question for you. Do you like fun?
I love fun. But I like fun that is logical. And I mean, if you get hit by a golf cart, if they did it any other way, it's fine. I'm okay. But make it look somewhat better than like we complain about the moves in the ring to make it look somewhat real. But when you stop and you have like at least I don't know, maybe not even close to a second, but just for the sake of my argument, like a second of you stop and you turn, you're like, oh no, you can
Frozen in fear.
first. Yeah. Like if you dove out of the way, mate, like maybe
Yeah.
there's probably ways they could have done it better that make
Right.
it look better if it was camera shot. I don't know, but
Right.
it was just hilarious how the logic in that. But besides that, from what I saw, that's my only gripes.
It was it was very, very well done. You could definitely tell that they probably had some input from both both on Matt and Jericho here. Just some of the stuff were just really creative. And also too, I liked even before the match even started, they had every guy wearing different gear as far as like in a street fight actually wearing a t-shirt and like
Jeans.
and like jeans and stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that. It stands out and from
Makes
from
sense.
yeah. So really like that. And then we had the return of Santana and Ortiz. Basically, they gang up on both Kenny and onto Matt Hardy, and they power bomb Matt Hardy through a table and hit the pin 1, 2, 3. So I wonder if they're still building to that blood and guts match. Down the line there. Just
I would assume so.
yeah, I was kind of thinking about that on the show here.
Keep that alive because
Right.
I mean, obviously you couldn't do it before. Yeah, I think you try to keep that alive for whenever you can do it. Kind of just keep that in the background. I mean, I guess you have to do what you got to do to keep it alive. So
right. And so Dynamite goes off the air with the Inner Circle once again, looking strong. And as of currently, we have 4 confirmed matches for Double or Nothing. The AEW World Title with John Moxley versus Brody Lee, the AEW TNT Championship between Cody Rhodes versus Lance Archer, MJF versus Jungle Boy, and with the Casino ladder match. And I would assume that we're probably are getting Chris Jericho versus Matt Hardy on that show as well.
Was MGF Jungle Boy? That wasn't for next week.
No, they made that official for Double or Nothing. They're doing Jurassic Express versus Best Friends next week. On Dynamite. And MJF is having a match next week.
That's probably a squash.
Yeah, which is probably a squash.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. A very fun, a very solid show. Even though there were some clear logic gaps, but easily probably my favorite show since the whole pandemic has been going on here. So I'm just glad that they're back in Daly's Place. Have some more people in the stands. Really helped out and really stood out about the show. And now, Matt, let's get on to some NXT talk right now.
Yes. So we open up the show with one of the advertised matches, Johnny Gargano versus Dominik Dijakovic. I thought this was I thought this was a good match between the two. Very good, hard hitting, if I can remember right. During the match, Candice comes out. She didn't come out originally with him, but she comes out, distracts Dominic a little bit. Then, as he goes for a moonsault, springboard moonsault, Gargano knocks him out of the ring, and they go to commercial break. We come back, match is still going on. Good part here. Candice at one point tries to distract the ref again, and then Gargano goes to take the protective padding off one of the turnbuckles, but the ref catches him, tries to put it back on. Meanwhile, Dijakovic hits the choke slam, but Gargano kicks out. Near the ending of the match, they're fighting in the corner, and the same corner with the turnbuckle, and Dominic is going for a power bomb, it seems, and Gargano is holding on, and as he holds on, he's taking the turnbuckle back off, and as he counters that move, the power bomb, he hits like a hurricanrana to force Dominic into the turnbuckle, and then hits the new named One Final Beat DDT. With the DDT, the opponent's like in the ropes, hung up on the ropes, and he hits it. So he hits that for the win. Where we go next? Next we had Bartel and Aichner, a little video promo challenging for the NXT Tag Team titles, which was confirmed to be, I believe, next week. In the promo, they said they interrupted that game show last week because it was nothing but an embarrassment, and Aichner says they're destined to win. And then after that, we have a Group B Cruiserweight match with Akira Tozawa versus Zach Gallagher.
Yeah, before you talk about this match, let me just ask you, and I heard that basically Tozawa got squashed within like 30 seconds on Monday Night Raw. How are we supposed to take him seriously as a challenger when in this tournament when he gets squashed like that?
Who did he face on Raw?
Crap. Wasn't Rollins? I forget off the top of my head. I'll look it up. So,
I get your point.
But yeah, it's like, hey, how, and of course, like they, with Vince isn't going to really care
the only thing going in NXT favor is not that many. I guess not that many people on the main roster crowd watch NXT. Look at few 2 million to 700,000. I get your point, but I think this was a decent little match.
It was part of the gauntlet match. Lashley squashed him.
Well, Zach Gallagher is not no Lashley, so that's the only thing in defense of that. Cesaro gets the senton for the win. In regards to Phantasma after the match, he goes, I think he's facing Phantasma. Let me double check here. Phantasma, he says, I don't know him, haven't wrestled him, but Phantasma, I will beat you. So that is the next match there for him. So Cesaro's 2-0, Gallagher is 0-2, effectively out of the tournament. Because I don't think if he does win, 1-2 is going to get it done. Obviously, if Cesaro loses, he's 2-1. So after that, we go to a women's match between Xia Li versus Chelsea Green. This was a this was a quick match because Aaliyah comes out to distract Lee because there's some history there. During the distraction, Green hits the "I'm prettier" for the win. Uh, Nothing more to say about that.
Yeah, just
Just to
move on.
get
Yep.
Chelsea Green a win, and it kind of teased that what's his face,
Robert Stone.
Robert Stone wanted to help Aaliyah because she was like outside the ring, so maybe teasing another person on his brand. But this was more, it did two things: keep the Aaliyah Xia Li feud there, and like I said, get Green a win and get her over for stuff down the road. So it did its job. Nothing more to say about that. Next, he's here. Tick Tock. We
Yeah.
get the debut of
I
in ring
saw. Oh yeah.
Karrion
I'm sorry.
Kross versus Leon Ruff, who
Yeah.
between Kross and Sheamus on SmackDown is having a rough go at it, pun intended. Go ahead.
Yeah. I saw this entrance and holy shit, this was amazing. Scarlett looks hot as shit as she normally does. Yeah, like you can just tell they've put a lot of effort um into presenting Cross like an absolute assassin here. I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with them, and I'm also am not sure if he's going to be in NXT for too long. He just seems to be really destined for either Raw or SmackDown. Don't you think?
Yes, I mean after a probably a title run in NXT,
Yeah.
I he just has that. I mean, just the entrance alone has that main
Uh-huh.
event. I saw somebody on Twitter say, "Can't wait to see this at WrestleMania with that whole production." Because
Yeah, there's definitely the potential there. I'm just I just hope that at that they do him right because he really is just he stands out from everyone else just with his look, with his presentation. I mean, like I'm hoping that they do better than what they did with with than with and with Rusev and Lana, and then after a certain point, they just get extremely bored with it, and they're like, "Oh, we're just going."
what the one thing that went against Rusev and Lana is they were a foreign gimmick.
Yeah, in which obviously this is not the case here.
Uh,
Um,
yep.
yeah, so
So
yeah, very very intriguing.
this match was quick. There was smoke still in the ring by the time this match was over, which added a nice effect.
Mhm.
Cross hit two Doomsday Saitos. I don't know how to say it. I'm reading
Yeah.
this. Pretty much almost look like not German suplexes, but you know what I'm. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
watch the
yeah.
match, that
Hmm.
looked pretty sick. And then
Hmm.
it hit the cross jacket submission for the win. Uh, Matched exactly what it needed to do, make him look dominant as all hell. So very good. Just everybody's still talking about the entrance which was just phenomenally shot and done.
Hmm.
Then we had a backstage interview with Riddle and Thatcher. Riddle says, um, "Can't believe that Imperium had the audacity to interrupt the newly bro show, and then ask for a title shot." Goes, the decision to fight them is not up to him, it's up to Thatcher. And Thatcher goes, "You knocked them out, and I'll tap them out." And that's all he said. And that's the
Hmm.
end of the interview. Short and sweet and to the point. I like that line from Thatcher. Uh, Next, we get the NXT Women's Championship match at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Io Shirai versus Charlotte. Um,
Yeah. Before you start on this,
yeah,
the one thing I'll say about Charlotte, I mean, like, yeah, like have not been a fan of her being champion. But why is she on both Raw and NXT? Don't you think that's we're really overexposing her at this point? I don't really understand why they have to have her on basically
I
both shows.
I think I think just to advertise NXT and to put NXT over. I think that's the only reason why is to
Yeah,
be like, oh, Charlotte's NXT champion. She has this match this week. I need to go see her. I think that's why. That's. I mean, it is. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, to get eyes on NXT. I mean, I don't blame them.
yeah. I just like that's been the one thing that's been pretty frustrating. But
Yeah.
I've also heard from some people from this match that it was solid, but the DQ was kind of annoying to say the least. Was this setting up a fatal four way of sorts down the
I don't know
line?
who the fourth person was because there was only three people.
Okay, okay,
I
I'm
think
not
this
sure
is. I think this is maybe just setting up a rematch with
with
Ripley
yeah with
because
Ripley.
yeah because at the DQ, Yushirai was hitting a moonsault to the outside off the top rope.
Uh-huh.
Charlotte got out of the way. Uh, Io landed, uh, and Charlotte had a kendo stick. Starts beating her up, and going for the figure four around the post. But Rhea Ripley returns, comes out and attacks Charlotte. Charlotte runs away with the title, and as Rhea is walking away up the ramp, Io's yelling her in Japanese. It's always funny. And Rhea's just going, "Shut up, just shut up." It's kind of funny, and this continues. Once we come back from commercial with an interview outside with Rhea, and then Io comes out, up still yelling and complaining, and they get into a scrap, and
Uh-huh.
they had people, referees and agents and trainers break that up. So that's, I believe, was there? I can't remember. It was confirmed that is it Rhea and Shirai next week? It might be. I can't. I don't know. I don't remember if that is
And
next week.
by the way, another match for Dynamite was also announced for next week, Matt. Santana and Ortiz are facing Kenny Omega and also Matt Hardy um on next week. So
Yeah. What do we have here? Yeah. So I mean, I for the DQ, and you think about it, I think the DQ is okay. It kind of protects both of them because Io Shirai is kind of more up there in terms of the women's um, division. So it kind of protects them and gets Rhea back into things, and we get that. Next, we have a Group A cruiserweight match between Kushida versus Jake Atlas. Um, I mean, a decent match. I think it was. I don't know if to say relatively quick, but I think it was relatively quick. I don't know, but Kushida wins with a armbar submission, so he's 2-0, and Jake Atlas is 1-1. Then we had the Finn Balor promo.
so
Yeah,
did they
hang on.
did they reveal his
No,
attacker?
no.
Okay,
See, he
okay,
comes
cool.
out, he takes the mic, and he says he thought this was more like not a pipe bomb, but that's not a pipe. That's probably
Oh
too
yeah,
strong. He was using insider terms.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I did hear about that.
he
So I
says
was
pretty much. Yeah, he says. Reading here. Um, he says he thought the biggest snakes were in the office, but now he's not sure. Not sure. Not so sure. Um, he goes the wrestling. The thing in wrestling is to attack the guy to get a push. You know, the big push with music, lights, lasers, and smoke. But now you're in the ring with the Prince. Uh, he says he's a patient guy, but whoever attacked him, push you're expecting won't be a push; it'll be a squash. And he walks away. So we get the next match. We get a quick little match between Cameron Grimes and Denzel Dejournette, somebody. Denzel gets two quick little offense moves in, but Cameron Grimes quickly hits the cave in for the win. Then he gets on the mic, cuts a promo, saying that times are changing and it's cringy grime time. He says he deserves better than what he's getting. He mentions Finn Balor and says if he was out here that he would slap the taste out of Balor's mouth. In the background, you can see Balor walking out just with like the "what did you say" face. Just continues into the ring. Grimes is cutting the promo, and then Balor just walks right up and up next to him and looks at him, and Grimes is like, "Oh crap!" He goes, "I didn't mean anything." He's trying to retreat and take back what he said. But Balor's like, if you want to slap me in the face, come here, slap me in the face, be a man. Like getting into his face. Grimes goes to attack him, but Balor takes him and stomps on him. Does a like mini coup de grace, if you will. And Balor hits a sling blade, and Grimes kind of retreats off to the floor. Balor looks at the camera and says something like, there's a snake hiding in the long grass in the back, but when he finds them, he will chop off his head like the best way to kill a snake. So his attacker is still out there. We don't know. And so next week we have Balor versus Grimes as well. Again, I'm not sure about Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, but I feel like that's the next logical thing, and I probably missed it. So we get to the main event. Is Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship.
Like one of the criticisms I heard about this match was that basically they just didn't have all that much time, and that they were just kind of really clearly rushing through things here. Did that come off like that to you?
I don't recall doing that for that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be wrong because I'm trying to look at AEW as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. I thought it was okay from what I saw. It's one of those things I would have to go back and watch. That might have been the case. I mean, it probably didn't have it obviously didn't have takeover time.
Yeah, obviously.
But I mean, it's a TV title match, though. You know how those things go most of the time. I mean, welcome to professional wrestling. So during the end of the match, Fish and Strong come out down to the ring like they always do, but Dexter Lumis makes an appearance. He slides out from underneath the ring, which that should be a GIF. Let me tell you, sliding to your DMs like. So they fight, and here comes the one criticism I had in this match. Loomis, I forget who he tosses. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Do I have in here? I don't know, but he throws one of the members of Undisputed up on the apron, tosses him up, and the ref is there. You know how the ref is through the ropes, yelling to stop, and he tosses one of members of Undisputed into the ref. I mean, it just didn't look good, and the ref got knocked out. It just didn't look good. It's So the ref is out, and Dream hit the purple rainmaker off the top rope, the elbow drop. He's counting himself 1, 2, 3. Obviously, the ref is out, and after that, Adam Cole hits the last shot to win and retain. And there we go. And that ends the match. Yeah. So I think a pretty solid night overall for both shows for NXT. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right. Well, I think that'll probably put a bow on this
Oh,
week's show, Matt.
did you
Yeah,
see that? Was it the commission in Maryland is
yeah, this, yeah,
with
like yeah,
with the
yeah,
non-sanctioned match between Moxley and Omega?
yeah. That's fucking dumb, if you ask
I
me.
don't know
But
how the red tape and everything that goes into that, but why is it coming out now?
yeah, it's just that's really sketchy. But I
Ten
think
thousand
that'll
dollars.
yeah, I think that'll be something that will touch on the
Yeah,
podcast
it's just
again.
weird how
Yeah, for
it
sure.
comes now. Yeah, but
Okay, guys. And as always, thank you for tuning in. And as always, we will be doing our weekly MB show with Brian. This Friday night. We'll be sure to cover so
7 o'clock Eastern.
seven o'clock Eastern now. So now we'll be discussing some things in regards to professional wrestling and also our weekly
Or 7:30,
podcast.
maybe it's 7:30. Never mind,
Okay,
7:30.
yeah,
I
uh,
forgot up. 7:30. My bad.
okay, and also we will be having our weekly podcast, which that's going to be dropping this Saturday. We're going to be touching on briefly for for UFC 249, just going to be previewing that and looking at the odds there, and just kind of discussing everything that has kind of led up to the point we're finally getting live fights now. So we're gonna be touching on that, and we'll probably find some other things.
Probably preview Money in the Bank predictions.
Yeah, we got that, and I believe and I think you said also that you wanted to talk a little bit
Yes,
uh,
Star Wars.
about Star Wars.
Some Star Wars news and about new director for a movie and
Mhm.
uh, the ending. I know you haven't watched it, but the ending of the Clone Wars and the new uh, show on Disney Plus. Like I forget the name is it's escaping me, but that shows behind the scenes of the Mandalorian.
Mhm.
That first episode dropped on May the 4th.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we'll find some other topics. We'll be talking about the coronavirus as we typically
Yes,
do.
Mama
And
my Corona.
yeah, and yeah, so that should just about do it for this week, guys. Like this video, share, subscribe, follow our Twitter page, and Matt and John make a podcast, and I believe does not have the
Yes.
yeah, all of the links to our Twitter pages are all down in the description there, and yep, thank you, and we shall see you later on Friday.